Hello, my name is Paul Miners and welcome back to another one of my productivity training videos. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some ideas of how you can go paperless with Apple Notes. If you have any questions at the end of this video, please feel free to leave me a comment below. So, how can we go paperless? And everything I'm going to say, all of the principles here, actually apply to not just Apple Notes, but other note-taking apps like Evernote, OneNote. I'm just using Apple Notes as the example because this is what I use. And I'm a very paperless, very digital person. If I can, on my desk in front of me here, I don't have any paper. I really try to minimize paper in my productivity system and routine because I find it much more efficient working in a digital system. I find it more efficient because I can recall and find information very quickly compared to going into my cupboard, finding notebooks or old scraps of paper that I have filed away. So I do what I can to try and go paperless as much as possible, and that's just my personal preference. I have nothing against paper systems, it's just this is how I like to operate. So, how can we live a more paperless lifestyle? Well, in Apple Notes, one of the things that I really like to do is I download or take photos of any instruction manuals or instructions that you get. So we've all been there before, like with this example here, we got a new heat pump installed and it comes with an instruction manual. And if you're not careful, these instruction manuals from heat pumps, or here was our washing machine, the Samsung Go mic that I purchased, the Netgear power line, all these little instruction manuals, they really add up and just add to the junk and mess in my cupboard. So I don't keep any of them anymore. Instead, what I do is I jump on the web, and usually when you buy a product like this, they do have a digital version of the instructions online. And so I download them and I put them into Apple Notes here. Now what I've done is I've actually applied this tag using the little hashtag symbol, instruction manual. So that's what I'm looking at here. So here are all of the digital instruction manuals that I have saved. And so it means that I don't have to keep the physical copy, I can just download them, or if I need to, I can take photos of the instructions with my phone if the digital copy is not available, and I can keep them all here in Apple Notes. Another way you can go paperless is by using Apple Notes to keep receipts. Now, I actually use a combination of Apple Notes and iCloud Drive for receipts or invoices that I receive. The difference is, if it's related to my business, I want to keep all paperwork that's business related in iCloud Drive because I might need that for my accountant or if I get audited one day. So I do keep that more permanently in iCloud Drive. For my casual sort of personal spending, all these receipts that I might need, but they're not really important, go into Apple Notes. And again, I use the receipt tag here to easily find them. So here's an example. This was from the hardware store. We bought some light bulbs and actually a tap or a sink or something here. The hope is that you never need the receipt, but because an issue might come up with the tap, I took a photo of the receipt so I can quickly find this again later if needed, and I don't have to keep the receipt in my wallet or in my cupboard adding to the mess. So that's a very quick and easy use case. It's just any receipts for purchases that you might need to refer back to, snap all those with your phone, put them into Apple Notes. Another way that I use Apple Notes to go paperless, and I actually have an entire video about this, which I'll link up in the corner, is for journaling. Now, I have in the past experimented with using a paper notebook. This is the Moleskine, and I really like using a pen and paper sometimes, but to be honest, I just keep coming back to Apple Notes because, again, personal preference, I just prefer a digital system. So again, you can watch my other video, but I name each note with the date and then journal entry, and I can just brain dump anything in my head, thoughts, things I'm worrying about. I can put in photos if I want to capture an important memory or moment, and it just means that I can capture some of those important thoughts and moments from my life here digitally. It feels a little bit more permanent to me because it's stored in my account, it syncs to my phone, and it's protected. Whereas, a notebook I suppose could get damaged or lost. I like having everything in Apple Notes. And at this stage, I actually have years worth of journal entries now in here, which is really nice to refer back to. Another very simple way that I use Apple Notes to go paperless, and I actually have only recently started doing this, which is why there's only 3 here, is for capturing business cards. So rather than keeping like a stack of business cards on my desk or again storing them in my cupboard somewhere, when I get a business card now, I've gotten into the habit of taking a photo with my phone and adding it here into Apple Notes. And again, I've got a tag here, in this case just business card, so I can easily find all business cards just with a click of a button. Another way that you can use Apple Notes to go paperless, and actually I think remember some important moments and memories, is to capture anything sentimental. So here, for example, I have the birthday cards that I received on my 30th birthday. Now, some people are going to watch this and probably comment below and say, oh, that's completely heartless. Why would you throw away birthday cards? I think most people probably do. Let's face it, when you receive birthday cards, you read them, you put them on a shelf or somewhere for a while, and then you think, okay, I want to get rid of them now. And we throw them away. I think most people, that's what happens, right? What I've started doing in the last few years, and here's an example, is I laid them all out and I just took a photo. And so I can refer back to these if I ever need to. It's much better for me than having them again build up in a cupboard somewhere where I'm never going to look at them anyway. A good example actually is when I was a lot younger, when I was a wee little boy, I actually wrote some letters to a cheetah sanctuary in Namibia. I wrote them a number of times because I was really interested in cheetahs. I still am. And they wrote back a number of times and they sent me these letters. And they just lived in a box in my cupboard and they've moved from house to house to house and I've never ever looked at them. One day I was just capturing everything, going through all that paper, and I've captured them in here. And honestly, since doing that, I've looked at them more since they've been in here in digital form than I ever did having them stuffed away in a cupboard somewhere. So it's a really nice way to hang on to sentimental letters, cards, notes, and things that you might receive, again, without that physical clutter building up. So those are some ideas of how you can use Apple Notes to go paperless and reduce the physical clutter in your life. Really, whenever I receive paper, I just go through a little bit of a thought process. I think about, do I need to keep this piece of paper? If so, then the question then is, do I need to keep a physical copy? Is it like, obviously, a birth certificate or a marriage certificate or something? I have those stored away somewhere. We can't replace that kind of paper. But if I do need to keep something, and I can keep it digitally, then I just grab my phone, I can take a photo and I can store it digitally, and then I usually just throw away the original. Sometimes I might hang on to the original for a little while, but eventually it gets thrown in the bin because I have the digital copy anyway. If you have any of your own really cool ideas of things that you do to go paperless, then please feel free to share your feedback and ideas down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.